Let's go ahead and jump right into some triple up practice, getting ready for the big triple up challenge. It's your boy Bangarang over here, XX Rufio XX at your poker service. You know what I'm saying? What up, all my poker bro and broettes? The passion, the love for the game, for the knowledge, for the upping the level of skill. I am here trying to juice out the most important of the tournament, trying to squeeze out that wheatgrass shot of poker knowledge and importance. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to focus on these hands instead of the words of encouragement and passion, which I fundamentally like to do. So let's just go ahead and zero in and see what it takes to actually accomplish a victory in one of these triple ups. Because I'll tell you, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's a lot of hands played, and sometimes it's very few hands played. Sometimes I find myself four-handed upon victory, and I haven't even played a hand, you know? And so it'd be nice if, you know, at the end, if I start tallying up some ideas as far as number of hands played or number of hands received, or like number of hands played out of the amount of hands played, how many pocket pairs, how many big aces, you know, and then all of a sudden start kind of graphing it up, you know, tallying it up, and all of a sudden after 1,000 games we're like, hey, wow, look at this, we're averaging, you know, 5 pocket pairs a tournament, you know, we're getting 5 big aces, you know, we're getting 10 hands, we're winning 5 of those hands, and then all of a sudden we're just going to be like, okay, this is what we're losing with, this is what we're winning with, now let's go ahead and stay away from this, and let's go ahead and continue to play this, you know, stuff like that. So it'd be really cool to just kind of build up all that, you know, and that's the type of questions, you know, I want to focus on, you know. And if you can think of like anything else, don't forget, if you are a random person in the world and are watching this, I would love to hear from you, you know, more than just like and subscribe. I would like some feedback of your thoughts and feelings or ideas, how we can make this even better. And you know, once again, if you don't say anything, like or subscribe, I will not have a clue that anyone in the world is actually watching this, except for me rewatching to see what I'm actually putting out there. Still new to all of this, and I am planning on spending some time to improve. So once again, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate that. And you know, just very passionate about you know, the, what do you call it, not the end result, but the you know, the adventure, you know, is more important, you know, is how we get to that victory, not just getting that victory. So, you know, I'm actually really excited about the idea that I was just talking about, you know, kind of graphing up some key ingredients to what we are receiving as far as on the regular when it comes to all knowledge, you know, how long the games last, you know, how many players at each level on average. You know, if we can find averages on like everything, that would just be freaking awesome, you know. And if we think outside the box, I bet there's a lot of stuff that we can actually build content on, which would be really cool, you know. And then, you know, I would like to you know, like I said, chart that up, graph that up, and really kind of absorb some of that newfound knowledge, you know. So I think that'd be really cool. And the nice thing is we can go back kind of and reference these videos, or, I can start with like the challenge, and if I play 100 or 1,000 games, it can go back, or I can start jotting it down, I'll keep track on the side, or even like at the end of each game, if we start tallying up some stuff, and then question what else can we tally, and I'm open to anything, if you have any good ideas, and definitely share them, and we can try to just become those poker Jedis that we strive to be. So lots of fun when thinking outside the box. Interesting is like thinking about just stuff like when you raise, what hands can call, what hands re-raise. And just a thought like that is a small one, but sometimes they turn into large ones, or even larger in value. So, there's really no wrong way to look at it, as long as we're just trying to look at every aspect and see if we can make some calculations on that. So even like what we can, like value amounts, there's just so many different ways that we could look at this. So I'm just trying to think outside the box, from simple to most complicated. I feel like it's all important. Like here's a good one is folds, rewarding folds, not rewarding folds, like mistake folds, good folds, stuff like that. So because I'm so proud of every time I fold that apple juice and I see like a bad flop, or that I'm up against a monster or two, and how many chips I saved. Speaking of, we can be thinking about how many chips we save per hand that we don't play, or how many chips we gain per certain hands that we play, like this 10 jack suited right here, how many chips are we losing or winning with this, and how many times are we gonna win or lose, like in this spot, like let's figure out, is 10 jack suited bringing in the butter and bacon, or is it turning into crumbles, so I know I'm just spastic when it comes to a lot of this stuff, because I'm excited, and anxious, and I really want to build that knowledge. Big fan of the triple ups as well, so I think that's a great place to start, and I think they're pretty popular today. Everyone loves sit and goes, multi-tournaments. Like I said, I'm a tournament specialist. That's what I have a passion for. That's what I really strive on becoming the best at. No cash games about it. This is all about sit and goes, qualifiers into tournaments, and tournaments themselves. So if that's what you're into, you are at the right place. King 9 for the shove, unfortunately does not pan out. And that's the thing, is you make one mistake, you make two mistakes, and all of a sudden you're at a certain chip level, and then the blinds are going to dictate your action. So I'm not sure if that was the same game, but for instance, if we did chip burn with that 10 jack suited, and now all of a sudden we're sitting with 700 chips, and we're on 1 in 200, about to have to hit the blinds, and we know we don't want to cripple ourselves and pay that and go down to 400, and now we're forced kind of to play that King 9. Now the question is, if we had more chips, would we be forced to play that? Absolutely not. So if we saved with the Jack 10, if we saved with another hand, if we saved from there, or gained from there a certain hand, gained from a different hand, well, then our chip stack would be different. The question is, how different, and can it get us into a better spot. And I absolutely think it can, and that's the magic is if you play right, you will get rewarded by being able to sustain a longer lasting poker life in the tournament and put yourself in a better spot with a better hand. You know, obviously we're not making that move if we had twice as much, say like 1500. We all know if it's 1 in 200, we got 1500. We're not shoving UTG with King 9. We're not doing it. But all of a sudden you put us at 700 on 1 in 200, and now we feel obligated to do so. So all those right and wrong moves are leading us towards ultimate decisions, which happen later on. So, and kiddies, this is chess. This ain't checkers. And I say that heartily because I talk about the casual call and the casual raise. Diligence or vigilance, being vigilant, if that's the right terminology, is so important in this game. Like sometimes I really feel like it's super important to be like a super statue. Like you cannot chip burn, you cannot make the casual call, you cannot make the casual raise. The casual raise fold, is, for me, what I'm finding out is one of the worst things that you can do, that I can do. That is just where I'm finding a huge pitfall is the raise fold. It is just, it's so bad to, it is so hurtful. Like if you just throw in that like mediocre hand and you just like double it, just like without even thinking about it, and then someone raises and you fold, it doesn't seem like that bad at first, but when you do it a couple times in a tournament, you find yourself with that 700 chip stack and King 9 forced to play. That is how you get into that bad situation. So I really feel like it's not that King 9 moment at the end that did us in. It was all those casual raise folds or those casual call folds, and that is what's leading us towards that loss or that victory. It's just such a crucial part, and it can be a lot easier said than done, because you start thinking, okay, well, what can I raise with then, Corey? If someone goes over the top and I can't continue, well then I can't really play much to begin with. And the answer to that is, yeah, actually you're right. There's those are the troubles. Those are the troubles that a lot of us have, and maybe we're opening too often, too late, and it's costing us more than it's gaining us. So love that sacred phrase, a bet saved is a bet earned. And you really gotta Jew up, and you gotta be super frugal with your chips, and I'm kind of proud to not fall into a lot of those traps. And we start picking up those patterns, we start noticing like, hey, I'm losing all my money with ace 10. I'm losing all my money with king, queen, queen, jack, 10 jack, pocket, deuces, threes, fours, fives, sixes, I just making these videos, I feel like I'm getting stronger in those aspects, a lot. As much as I want to zero in and talk about these hands, I just feel like it's really super important to really be aware and conscious and start considering those moments and saying, hey, if I make this move over a lifetime, what is it mitigating me? A loss or a win, and let's not talk about the tournament. Let's just talk about that single hand. Is this move making me chips, or is it making me less chips. Because think about it. You start off with a precious 1500, and you really have to look at it as 15 precious 100 chips. Because when you don't and you lose respect for your chips, that's when your chips lose respect for you and you start losing. And it goes all into that theme. I mean, really, start thinking about it. Imagine at certain blind levels, let's just say 50, 100 for easy numbers. 50, 100. Okay, let's just say you double bet, fold. Okay. And I was thinking more about this at level 75, 150. Okay, just to really kind of grasp that concept. Imagine the blinds are 75, 150, and you casually double it to 300, and someone shoves, and now you're shoved to fold. Okay, you just lost 300. What is 300 of your precious 1500? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, that's 1/5. That's 20%. You just casually lost 20%. You didn't get to a flop, turn, or a showdown river. Okay, all you did was casually raise it and force to fold it, and you lost 20%. And at first glance and casual thought, it doesn't mean that much. You think, oh, okay, this happens, I double it and he just had a big hand and I had to fold it. Okay. But then you do it again. You double it to 300. And what happens? Someone goes over the top and now you fold. You just lost 20% of your chip stack again. And guess what? You double it again. Your standards are lowering. Your desperation is raising. Okay? Your temperature is rising and you're not feeling so hot anymore. You need to do it again. You just lost 20%. You do it again. You just lost 20%. 3, 6, 9. Now you're down to a measly 600 and you haven't even seen a freaking flop. Well, guess what? Now you're looking at blinds that are 75, 150 about to turn into 100, 200. And now you're forced to play a sub-marginal hand. And now you're all in with something like King 9. Because if you pay 75, 150, 200 out of your, let's see, you lost 3, 6, 9, you're at 600. Well, if you pay 200, then you're at 400. Or if the blinds rise and you're at 1 and 200, you can't pay 300 out of your 600. And so now you're playing anything because you don't want to pay those blinds, because then you're down to 300, and at that point you're already out. So you would rather even just bluff shove open, okay, first in vig style with any two cards. So now you're going all in with any two cards because you raise folded 3 times on 75, 150. Oh, darn, I didn't even look at it that way. Yeah, well, guess what? That's why we're doing this, is because that's what's happening. We're casual. Imagine if you just switch it to a casual call instead of a casual raise. Oh, I'm not raising. I'm just, I'm calling. Okay, yeah, cool. So you're calling with the deuces to try to hit the deuce, and then they raise. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to fold. Or if you call, now you can only hit a deuce, or you're pretty much out of position, and they can strong arm you whether they have it or not. You're crippled. You are crippling yourself. You do it with 3s, same scenario. You do it with 4s, same scenario. You do it with 5, same scenario. What level can you do that at? What level can you not do that at? Can you do that when the blinds are less? Yeah, I think so, because it's less of your whole stack. Blinds start off at 10, 20. Okay, fine. Limp in with deuces for 20. And if someone raises, to 60 or to 80 or to 100, at that point, you get out. Okay, sure. You only lost 20. You do it again, you only lost 20. You do it again, you only lost 20. Okay. Well, guess what? You make 5 mistakes when the blinds are 10, 20, or 15, 30. You only lost 100, 150 chips. Now, I'm not saying that that does not matter. That still matters, but it's a less percentage of your overall chip stack. So the mistake, I feel like, is still potentially there and significant, but to a lesser extent. But it all adds up very quickly. And the question is, when do you cut it off? 25, 50, 50, 100. We need to ask ourselves at each level, because if you think about it, this game is played up to a certain level almost every time. It's not like that ever switches. It's not like, we see this game go up to level 20 and the blinds are, 1,000, 2,000. Never happens in this sit and go structure 9-man tournament. No, never happens. So we have a parentheses of a certain cap, a typical. It always starts off at a level 1. We always see playing level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to about 200, 400. I would say the tournament pretty much caps out. I don't see it go really rarely past 2, 4, which would be 250, 500, and 3 and 6. I mean, super rare occasion. I don't even think the game gets up to 4-8. Okay, game's over before that. That means the game's over by 3-6. That means really the game's over by 250, 500, and most the game's over at 2 and 4. I see the game can be done even less than that. At like 150, 300, the game could be done. The game could even be done at 1, 200, but the game never goes past like 250, 500. No way. Okay, so that brings us to a nice, parentheses of a level structure, which is really cool because now we have a basis to start with. It's a ground floor. How many levels are there? Boom. Level 1, 10, 20. Level 2, 15, 30. Level 3, 20, 40. I gotta check. Level 4, 25, 50. Level 5, 50, 100. Level 6, 75, 150. Level 7, 100, 200. Now I gotta double check the structure because I'm not sure if it goes 10, 20, 15, 30, 20, 40, or it might go 10, 20, 15, 30, 25, 50, 50, 100, level 5, 75, 150, level 6, 100, 200, level 7, 150, 300, level 8, 2 and 400. Now, if that's the case, they're 10-minute levels, right? That still brings us to an hour and 20 minutes of play. An hour and 20, an hour and 10, an hour, right? Because we can say that the game definitely goes past 75, 150 and definitely ends by 2 and 400. So we know the game ends roughly between, I would say, level 6, 7, and 8. Never gets past 8. Always gets past 5. So this is stuff that we need to start thinking about. How many hands are we getting per level? How many hands are we playing per level? How many hands should we be playing level? How many hands are we winning with? How many hands are we losing with? How many hands are we bluffing with? Now, it's interesting how, the way we play at the beginning, the way we play in the middle, and the way we play at the end is totally diverse. It is completely different, which is so interesting. And especially when we get down to the last levels, shorthanded play that's when I feel like the game becomes most difficult, because the options and the amount of hands that we play really become opened to discussion and what's right, what's wrong, and there's a lot of maneuverability, more so than any part of the tournament. But as you can see, my success really is involved with playing best handhold. I call it best handhold because I just feel like I get in trouble so often when I bluff. And don't get me wrong, there are moves to make mini bluffs. And I'm not talking about like building up a rep, but I am talking about a very occasional, almost passive bluff. Not like a forced bluff, not like a hardcore, in your face bluff. No, I'm talking about the small blind limps in, you check, and it comes out brick, 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 or whatever, and he checks to you, and you bet, and he folds. Or he checks twice, and you bet, and he folds. To me, that's probably the best case scenario, because a lot of these people, they're playing unimaginative poker, kind of as well. They're playing best hand hold. So for some reason, people are pretty open. Like, if they're checking because they don't have it. If they're checking twice, they're surrendering most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Check raises don't happen that often, and this is something we need to think about: is how often am I getting check raised? How often am I check raising? How successful is the check raise? How many more chips is it bringing me in? These are more of a list that I want to create and get calculations for. So here you can see we're on 2 and 400, and it's four-handed. So, and if you can build up a stack or momentum, I feel like it really pays off because of how difficult it is to play against. And we'll see that more often. It is so hard to call or to go over the top when it's shorthanded and every chip matters, every play matters. Because at that point, it's just more successful to get out of the way and to attack than to take a chance. And you'll notice a big stack will have that heated up momentum, and it is so hard to stop. So it's great to be that guy. It sucks to be against that guy, Sometimes a strong offense is a strong defense. And I just really hope all this content can make it through, because I'm looking at 32 minutes, and I know we're only good for like 20. And this is kind of a long video. I'm hoping my dialogue doesn't ruin it, because this is some great knowledge. I'm loving it for myself. Selfishly, I'm loving my words right now. I'm loving my passion. I'm loving where my head's at, loving my thoughts, and once again, as much as I want to be talking about each hand, sometimes it's more important to be thinking about everything else besides the hands, and that's where we're at. So this is just great content right here, and I'm hoping others can see this and can weigh in their thoughts and feelings about this and participate, so, and you're going to see me get a lot of wins and a lot of fourth places. And once again, as much as fourth place stings because you're the last one to lose, I feel like you're the closest to winning. I'd rather be the last loser than the first loser, even though people might say otherwise. You know, they're saying, hey, I'd rather double up or get out at the beginning because it's costing time, and I'd rather just jump into another game. Yeah, it's totally true. But, you know, I would rather have posted up on my wall, hey, I have 100 fourth places and 100 victories, than something like, oh, I finished 7th, 8th, 9th. I finished 7th, 8th, 9th, 6th, 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 4th, you know? First. No, I don't want to show that I'm getting 9th place, 8th place, 7th place. You know, what does that say as far as my game goes? Well, it says I'm all over the place. And if I'm all over the place, well, then there's a problem, because it shouldn't be like that. Unless you get it in good and you just have a bad outcome, that's going to happen. But as far as this is skill. This isn't luck. That's why I play, and I believe that. So, fourth and almost winning, to me, shows a lot more skill than any sort of 7th, 8th, or 9th. Okay? So, yeah, it doesn't give us a money value, you know? But to me, it's still showing success, because you're that close. You're that much closer to winning each tournament. So yeah, bring on the fourths. I'm good with fourth. Hey, if I'm showing that I'm getting fourth every time, then hey, I'm the closest out of the losers to winning. So, and then at that point, you can zero in, adjust the skill just a little bit. There's another fourth for you. And hopefully a few minor changes instead of major ones could, in fact, get us to a nice place. So this is a great video. I'm excited to really buckle down and try the challenge and see if we can find that great success. So once again, this is Bangarang, banging it out with that poker passion, and excited to see you on